Welcome to the Locked In Baseball Podcast. I'm William Locke. He is Luis Barranco. It is Thursday night, April 30th. Luis, you look like you're a European. You look like a Frenchman right now, like you're about to go to a PSG game or something.
At first, like a PSG game, I thought I was going to get like an Italian or something, like a Russian mob boss, with the tracksuit and the boss, thing on the side, Hugo Boss.
Something like that. You look like you're gonna walk. You're gonna pace down a European street, smoking a cigarette very intensely.
I'm just prepping for the World Cup. I'm getting everybody accustomed to what's going to be this summer out here in the United States.
Yeah, get that bank account ready for the World Cup. Good Lord, these tickets are astronomical. FIFA's ripping everybody off.
You know what's so funny? You know that FIFA has an office down here in Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I keep running into people, and like, for example, today I was going to the gym and I was in the elevator shaft, and this guy.
You were in the elevator shaft, or you were in the elevator?
Okay, in the elevator. You know what I mean? I was in the elevator, but I'm in the elevator, and I'm talking to this like construction guy, and he's like cool as fuck. Like, he's just making good comments, whatever and whatnot. And this lady walks in, and she's like, "Oh, what do you think? The guy's like, you have a nice pin." The guy was being overly complimentary. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, it's the FIFA pin." And he was like, "Oh, that's awesome." She's like, "Yeah, I work for FIFA." And then he was like, "Can I get free tickets?" And she was like, "I can't even get free tickets because it's also F1 weekend here. It's F1 weekend down here in Miami. It's probably the biggest weekend, one of the biggest weekends in the year. You got F1 this weekend on Sunday. So the whole city's taken over by all the F1 teams. And then it's also the Cadillac Championship. I don't know if you keep up with golf. Scotty Scheffler's in, Jordan Spieth's in, and so that's at Trump National up in Doral. So there's a bunch of things to do this weekend.
Bunch of things to do this weekend. I'm going to Europe, so this is our last podcast for a week or so. We got Team of the Month. We're officially a month in. But not only do we have Team of the Month talking through some of the best players in the league, we're going to talk through some of the worst players in the league who is off to the slowest start in Major League Baseball. Who are those guys that are not performing? We're going to talk about that at the top. Then we're going to talk about the Phillies firing Rob Thomson, what it means for them moving forward. Alex Cora was dangled out there. He was offered the job, so we'll talk about that. Dalton Rushing, we mentioned it a week ago, quickly becoming MLB's most hated player. He had another interesting week, so we're going to talk about that, give our opinions. Then we're going to talk through the Yankee series, just go around the horn, talk about everything. I mean, Nathan Church had himself a week. The Red Sox continue to struggle. The Mets, good Lord. Murakami homered again. I mean, there's a lot to get to. It was a loaded week in baseball, as it always is. So much going on. But I think we should start at the top here with our best and worst players from the start of the season. So March into April, Team of the Month / worst players of the month. We're going to go position by position. We're pretty much aligned, but we do have some other some disagreements on the list that we have in the document here. So Luis, you want to get it started with our catcher position?
Let's talk about it. I mean, this is the April / March Team of the Month. You also have to include March. A lot of these guys got off to some really hot starts this season. Again, the weather's heating up. Some of these guys got hotter to the back half of the month. Cough, cough, Aaron Judge. Excuse me. But again, all these guys deserve recognition, and they're well-deserved in their honors for being a part of the Major League's best and worst at this point, right? This far in the season. Again, if you're on the worst, you still got how many months left in the season? You still got 4 months to rectify your season. So
like 4 or 5 months.
You'll be okay. I mean, look, if your team's winning and you're playing some good ball defensively or doing something else, hey, there's some guys that are on rosters just for clubhouse support, and we know there's guys that stick on for that. William, the Yankees always carry around the clubhouse guy. Anthony Rizzo got carried around in the World Series, even though Buddy couldn't hit a baseball to save his life, But yet again, let's talk about it. For the catchers, there's one big guy right now hitting the lights out of the ball right now, and he's hitting the lights out in a Little League park, a.k.a. AAA, and Shea Langoliers. Shea Langoliers has probably been the best catcher not named Dylan Dingler, who is my honorable mention. In the month of April / March, he's hitting a 298 with 13 RBIs, 7 homers. He's slugging .585, and he's an on-base percentage of .333. 1.1 WAR, and he is playing some good ball for Sacramento, with a 149 WRC plus. Again, he pretty much is Sacramento's MVP this season for the A's. A's are in first place today, still this far through the season, and it's a lot because of him. And it's good to see that the rest of the guys in that lineup are slowly starting to heat up, like Nick Kurtz with the weather heating up. So, hey, good to see him. Now, for the worst, it goes to Salvador Perez. And William, you can take it away.
Salvador Perez, worst catcher in the league so far. 52 WRC plus, which is 48 points below the league average hitter, and a negative 0.3 F4. He's been downright terrible. I think the Royals should start Carter Jensen as their everyday catcher and move Salvi to DH or, I don't know, first base. I guess you got Vinny Pasquantino, but you can rotate. He has been horrible. Now, the good news for him, 5 home runs on the season. But then again, he had the beef with Matt Cotrero, his manager, this month. He doesn't need off days. He doesn't need rest days. But yeah, he's been the worst catcher in the league so far. And yeah, agree with Shea Langoliers. Also honorable mention to Drake Baldwin, who hit 7 home runs in 31 his first 31 games. He was great.
Can we just have a conversation about catchers right now, since we're on the topic, on how good the catcher position is in the future? I mean, Carter Jensen also had himself a month. I know he's not getting a lot of publicity right now because he is a rookie. He is replacing a potential Hall of Famer in Salvador Perez, but you got Carter Jensen, you got Shea Langoliers, you got Drake Baldwin, obviously Moises Ballesteros for the Cubs, and Sammy Basayo for Baltimore. There's a lot of good catching prospects, a lot of good young catchers in Major League Baseball. And it's one of those positions that in the past we've seen headlined by defensive guys, but now we're getting some good all-around guys that can both do some work behind the dish and also hit the ball for homers and average.
Yeah, I mean, how about Liam Hicks? 7 home runs, 315 batting average for the Marlins. He's been great. You also had Hunter Goodman, 9 home runs through his first 28 games, but he does strike out 37% of the time, which I believe is the second highest strikeout rate in all of Major League Baseball. Nonetheless, that's our catcher position. Let's move over to first base. Another really solid month.
You're missing the point. Do you think we're in good hands at the catcher position?
100%. That was a great point. I completely agree. A lot of great young catchers. Yeah.
I feel like, there's every team has a good catcher, except for like the bottom third of the league or bottom,
Yeah.
eighth.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good catchers in the league right now. That's a good point.
And a lot of teams carry 2. Kansas City has Carter Jensen, and I know Salvi hasn't had a good month, but hey, it's 2 good catchers.
Will Smith and Dalton Rushing. I know the Dodgers aren't necessarily always the best example because they have so much more talent than everybody, but those guys have both been really good to start the season.
The Cubs, too, you can make an argument for Carson Kelly being a really good catcher and Miguel Amaya with the platoon. There's a lot of good platoons in Major League Baseball.
Yes. First base. This was another tough position. We're giving it to Ben Rice. I think he's the American League MVP runner-up through the first month of the season. 323 average with a 211 WRC plus, 10 home runs. The Savant page stands out. It's always a sea of red. He has continued to establish himself as one of the better players in all of baseball, not just first baseman. He's been very, very exciting to watch as a Yankee fan. And he has a 1.7 F4, which is tied for first with Matt Olson, who's our other guy that we have to highlight here for the month. He's been great for Atlanta. Hit a walk-off home run on Wednesday night against the Tigers, and he has 9 home runs through his first 31 games, 306 batting average. Both of those guys have been great. And of course, we got to give a shout out. Well, he doesn't make the team officially. Munetaka Murakami, 12 home runs, tied for the Major League lead. He has been, in my opinion, one of the stories of the first month of the season.
Cash Mune. I got a question. Murakami has an opt-out this offseason, right?
No, I don't think so.
It's next year, right?
It's a 2-year contract. I don't think there's an opt-out after the first season, though.
You don't? Oh, okay. Well, I just think, again, Matt Olson's one of those guys that I want to have this discourse. I think we've had a lot of this combo outside of the pod between you and me, over text and when we go watch games. But I feel like Matt Olson's one of those first basemen that doesn't get enough recognition, that I think we're going to look back at his career and be like, man, he had a really good career. Like, not, I don't want to throw out Hall of Fame, but a really, really good career for a first baseman. Like, the problem is with Matt Olson is, number one, he played in Oakland, and you know how Oakland is. And two, he is replacing Freddie Freeman, which is probably one of the greatest Braves of all time. He's in that conversation as one of the best Braves ever. Not ever, but in that list of like
Freddie, yes. Freddie is definitely. I feel like Matt Olson has been overlooked in his career. Underrated, I guess, is another word you can use. I thought he should have been on the Team USA WBC roster. I mean, he plays every single game. He's played 162 games, all 162, 4 straight seasons. He's played all 31 so far. He is the Iron Man of the modern era. Yeah, the numbers are great. He's a great defensive first baseman. Won the Gold Glove last year, All-Star last season. He's never gonna he has 3 Gold Gloves. He's never gonna win like an MVP. He's not that good, but I think he's consistently a top 3 first baseman in the league, and he is underrated. He is definitely underrated.
We could make the argument that he is the best first baseman right now in the majors. All around. All around,
and when you factor in defense, he's better than Ben Rice. But Ben Rice is new to the position. Yeah, he's better than Bryce Harper right now. It's a fact. He's better than Vlad Jr.
He's better than Vlad now. He's better than Freddie right now.
I'd rather have Matt Olson over a 162 game season than Freddie Freeman, but I'd rather have Freddie Freeman in the playoffs because he just turns into prime Barry Bonds in the postseason. But yeah, I mean,
you just have PTSD of him just killing the ball against the Yankees.
I do. Vlad has been great though. He's hitting 358 with a 160 WRC plus. He's just behind Olson and F4. He has been good.
Yeah, well, the thing with Vlad is that Vlad just doesn't hit homers. The power. It depends what type of bat do you want. Do you want a guy that's going to get you 40 home runs a season, or do you want a guy that, that's going to get singles and driving runs in a different way than homers? Vlad, there's a big, and I did this, this is going to sound pretty dumb of me, but with Vlad, I had Vlad on my fantasy team, and I think a lot about his dad, with the home run derbies, and Vlad Jr. did a home run derby, and you think that Vlad's just this big power guy, but in reality, if you look at his stats, he's not that big of a power guy. This year he only has 2 homers. Last year he hit 23, and the year before he hit 30. His last over 30 homer season was in 2022 where he hit 32, and then the year before he hit 48. But he's not a guy that's gonna pretty much nuke the ball like a Matt Olson or a Pete Alonso that we think about in the world.
Yeah, he changed his swing, I believe, after that 2021 season where he hit 48, finished second in MVP voting that year. That's kind of because that was only his second real full season in the big leagues. That kind of established himself in people's minds as a home run hitter. But yeah, he has not been that guy over the course of his career since then. He's still elite. I mean, like I said, he's hitting 358 with a 155 OPS plus right now. But yeah, to your point, he is not that home run hitter. He's going to hit doubles and drive in runs, but he's not going to put the ball over the fence. And that's fine because it works for Toronto. Who are the worst first basemen, Luis?
I got a couple. Again, first base is another position that's in good hands. You can also put Sal Stewart in that conversation, who's had a really nice year for Cincinnati thus far. But I think when you look at the worst, it has to be Rafael Devers. Boston was ridiculed last year for the trade, sending him out to San Francisco. And this year, he just hasn't been great out there in the Bay. He's hitting 200 right now, on base percentage of 231, 280 slug, 32% strikeout rate, only 9 RBIs and 1 homer and 78 plate appearances through 19 games. It's just not good. Defensively.
Wait. Are you looking in April? Just April?
Yeah, I'm looking at the past month, essentially.
Oh, okay. Because he's played 29 games. Whatever. The numbers are slightly different when I'm looking at the full.
Well, I'm looking at April. Season. Yeah, I'm looking at April. But again, he's just not playing good baseball right now. And I feel that just kind of how San Francisco is. San Francisco is just not playing good baseball right now. And their season is, it stinks when you're paying a guy the amount of money you're playing with Rafael Devers, and he's not playing good ball.
He has a negative 0.8 F4. He is a losing player right now. He is below replacement level. He has the second worst F4 among qualified players. The worst, we'll get to him a little bit later in the DH position, but he plays for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hint, hint. Yeah, Devers has been terrible. And right now, Craig Breslow is getting ridiculed on all of the social media platforms, and deservedly so, for the Cora firing and the way he's managed that roster. But one of the good things that he did was getting off that Rafael Devers contract, because right now that looks like a complete mess for San Francisco. They're on the hook for all of it. And look, man, we talk about Buster Posey as a president of baseball operations in San Francisco. It's only, a second full season. It's still probably too early to say this guy should go, but it's not great. The Vitello experiment has not worked out. They haven't really landed the marquee free agent. Like they kind of get the B tier free agents. Willie Adames, I wouldn't have given him that contract. So it's a 500 organization, and now they got this Devers contract that is just rough. So yeah, he was definitely the worst first baseman in the league this year. You have some honorable mentions?
Also, San Francisco, I just think they also get ridiculed because of the location that is San Francisco. No disrespect to the city of San Francisco. I have never been. I know you've been. I have friends from the Bay Area who love the Bay, live and die by the Bay. But again, the taxes out there in California, again, it's not, a lot of players are not very happy to be living in that neighborhood because of that. And this is just allegedly, again, also the cost of living in San Francisco is pretty high. And when you're a hitter and the ballpark is the dimensions that is Oracle Park, I don't think it's a hitter's haven that they're going to be running over to go play at.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone, like a normal person, can afford to live in San Francisco, to be honest. And if you're a hitter, obviously these guys aren't normal people. They're getting paid astronomical salaries. I don't know why you would go there as a free agent hitter. They have to learn how to develop guys because it's so hard to hit there.
What was the statistic? It's crazy because you think about that whole division. Like you got the Coors effect. Now we should trademark something with the Oracle effect. The Oracle, because wasn't it like last year that it was like the first year? It wasn't Soler. It was Adames, who was the first player to hit 30 home runs since I think it was like Barry Bonds.
Yeah. They haven't had a 40 home run guy in a long time since Bonds. Was it 30?
30? Yeah, it was like a 30. It was like surprisingly low.
Yeah.
We need a fact check on that. While you fact check that, let me talk about some honorable mentions, and I'll talk about our next position. Honorable mentions: Josh Naylor and Michael Busch, two guys that have really struggled out the gate. But again, I do feel like with warmer climates, both of them will also get hot. I mean, also Seattle's a tough place to hit, and also the Cubs have a lot of moving parts right now. But I do feel like that offense is slowly starting to get going, and I do feel better days are ahead for these guys. Level of concern with Devers is pretty high, especially with what's going on there in San Francisco. At our next position, this is a general weaker position in second base. Second base is a position right now that you think about the big guys like Jazz Chisholm, who hasn't been great this far. Ketel Marte hasn't been doing Ketel Marte things. And the guy who's been rising to the occasion this season has been Cubs second baseman Nico Hoerner. Nico Hoerner has been one of the biggest revelations.
Did you hear that?
What happened?
I just my glass fell and it broke. We'll leave that in. We'll leave that in.
Maybe it's good luck for the Cubs season and Nico Hoerner MVP run. I mean, on that note, Nico Hoerner this year has been, when you think about the Cubs this year, you think about Alex Bregman being one of those stable guys in the lineup. And they also have guys like Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki. Nico Hoerner is not the first guy you think about in that lineup. But this year, he is. Through 29 games, right now my statistics are showing 29 games. He's hitting 296 and a 1.6 WAR, 1.2 base running score, WRC plus of 135, 24 RBIs and 7 stolen bases. Those are some really good numbers. Shout out to Nico Hoerner, got the bag, and he's been playing some good ball out there in the north side.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players. High contact guy, going to hit for a high average, plays elite defense. We know like the profile, and he's a little bit of a polarizing player because before the season, people were kind of talking down on him. They wouldn't want to have him on their team, et cetera, et cetera. But He's the type of player you want to have in your lineup if you're a playoff team, in my opinion.
Now, my question to you before you get into the worst second baseman right now, rank your top 5 second basemen, because I think this is something that we get debates in. I feel like it's one of those positions that it's so more murky to decide because there's a lot of like, what flavor do you like in your second baseman?
I mean, like this season so far, or just in general, not like factoring.
Like right now, we're talking about right now.
This season.
I'm talking about right now. Who do you want to have? Give me your top 5.
Horner, in no order. Horner, Marte, Jazz. I mean, the future guy is JJ Weatherholt. Ernie Clement.
Is that your 5?
Terang, Vargas. I'm throwing out names. It's a weak position.
Well, bring out. I said 5. Don't just spitball names out here on the podcast. We want 5 names.
Well, the locks are Horner, Marte, Jazz, even though he's been really not great at all this season.
Mm-hmm.
Terang. I'll throw Terang in there. And give me Weatherholt.
I'm going to go different with you. I'm taking Nico Horner. No order. Nico Horner, Bryce Terang, Ozzy Albies, Ketel Marte, and give me Xavier Edwards. Edwards.
That's a good one. Xavier Edwards. Yeah, that's a good one.
I feel like those are the 5, and they play good D. They run the base pass well. And again, I feel it's one of those positions that's very murky. And talking about the guy who struggled out the gate this year at a second base, it's Jake Cronenworth, getting paid a really big deal out there in San Diego. He's only hitting 190, 159 right now, 289 OVP, and his WRC plus is 58.
Yeah,
1 home run, 4 RBIs. It's not great.
Yeah, hate to do it to a fellow Michigan man, but we got to do it. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to third base. Our third baseman of the month. Give me Kevin McGonigal. I know he plays third and short, but we're going to give the rookie the honors here. He has been great to start the season. Looking at the numbers, he leads all of third basemen in F4 right now at 1.5, 333 batting average, 420 OBP. Really good eye, which is a 12% walk rate, 13% strikeout rate. He's been electric for the Tigers and kind of changing the dynamic of their lineup a little bit. That said, they've been pretty mid. They have not been able to get it going. And then the worst third baseman, he might be one of the worst hitters in the league, man. I mean, it's depressing, but we got to give it to Ke'Bryan Hayes. Negative 0.6 F4, and he's a good defender, but he has a 6 WRC plus. A 6 WRC plus, I repeat. He is hitting 130. That is his batting average right now. He's been that bad. So, yeah, we're giving it to Ke'Bryan Hayes, the worst third baseman to start the 2026 season.
I'm surprised you didn't put Ryan McMahon there. But Ryan McMahon has had some respectable.
Yeah, he's had some decent at-bats lately.
But before but no, I think I want to give an honorable mention again. Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez is a steady Eddie. He's all reliable. Never fails. He's been hitting the ball. He's not hitting the ball too well, but he has a 1.1 WAR right now on Fangraph right now. And then Max Muncy. Max Muncy again, 9 home runs, 11 RBIs, hitting 290, which is a change for Max Muncy, hitting close to 300. Again, I don't know what they do out there in LA. But again, Max Muncy's hitting the ball really well and seeing the ball well.
Those are good call-outs. Let's keep it moving. Shortstop. This is a fun one because I wanted this guy to have a good season, and so far he's off to a hot start. Elly De La Cruz. I'd say he's in the National League MVP hunt right now. 283 batting average, 152 WRC plus, 10 home runs on the season. Right now the Major League lead is 12, which is shared between Murakami, Judge, and Yordan, which could be a fun race in the American League this year. But Ellie's been crushing it. The Reds have a good offense, which is crazy to say. He's got 8 stolen bases. The Reds have a good offense, but him and South Stewart, basically. The team, maybe not as much. So I love Ellie. Honorable mention, Bobby Witt. I feel like he's flying under the radar, but he does lead all of shortstops in F4 right now. It's because he plays incredible defense. Only has 2 home runs, but those 2 home runs have been in like the last week or so. So we'll talk about that series a little bit later. And then the worst shortstop, I'm giving it to Trevor Story. Giving it to Story, negative 0.4 F4, 197 batting average, and a 41 WRC plus. And on top of that, was kind of beefing with his GM. Not really a good one for Story.
I don't know if I can give you that Trevor Story one. I mean, Trevor Story's not hitting the ball well, as you said, 200, but 15 RBIs this far, ranking top 10 for shortstops right now. 15 RBIs is more RBIs than Trey Turner at shortstop, more than Mookie Betts and the Kevin McGonigal. And I know that was Kevin McGonigal at shortstop, which he's had 19 games at shortstop, and also Mookie Betts has been hamstrung with injury. Again, I think the guy. I also think guys that we got to highlight that are not having a good year. Willie Adames not playing great, and also Ezekiel Tovar. You can chunk in Jerry Perdomo there. Jerry Perdomo was a top 5 MVP candidate last year, and he's not playing good ball right now. He has a .6 WAR. He's
And fun fact, those 15 RBIs that Trevor Story has is actually all of the RBIs and runs that the Red Sox have this season. So
that's what I'm saying. You can't lump them into that. Here's the New York bias.
Yeah, Otto Lopez. Shout out to Otto Lopez.
Otto Lopez, don't remind me.
Colson Montgomery, 8 home runs too. Let's move it out into the outfield.
Before you go to the outfield, we kind of called this on Ellie De La Cruz. Remember the preseason pods? Like how we were saying, like the Reds go where he goes, and we were waiting for take that step. I think he's taking that step this year. And it's kind of fun to see, like, because I feel like he's kind of like, prototype A or like beta A of these like jumbo shortstops, these freak athletic shortstops, 6'6" guys, or like, jumbos right there in the middle of the infield. We haven't seen them. Obviously, the O'Neill Cruz experiment didn't work at shortstop, and he's now playing in the outfield. But Ellie De La Cruz is making it work, and we could see a change, in the future where we see more of these like humongous athletes up the middle. Yeah,
it's an interesting experiment. I did say he was going to have a career high in home runs this year. It looks like he's going to do it. The career high, I think, is 25, and he's already at 10. So as long as he stays healthy, he's probably going to get that, which is exciting. So I feel good. Pat myself on the back a little bit with that prediction. I also predicted Murakami under home runs, and that's not going to hit. So that was a bad prediction on my end.
Because we were sold that Murakami couldn't hit anything over 95 mile an hour fastball. Like the media was telling us, this guy can't hit, any high velo stuff. He can only hit stuff out of farmers in Japan.
That was the narrative this offseason. Left field, I'm going to give it a little bit of a nostalgia pick. Austin Martin, Vanderbilt legend, 311 batting average through his first 27 games out there in Minnesota, 22% walk rate, and a 164 WRC plus. He had a great month. I know he's not leading left fielders, whatever, in F4, and guys like Chandler Simpson have had good months. Randy, Taylor Ward, Riley Green, Ian Happ. But give me Austin Martin from Minnesota. Minnesota, we don't really talk about them that much on this podcast because they're really not that exciting. There's not much to talk about with the Twins, if we're being totally honest, until the trade deadline. But we'll give it to Austin Martin.
We only talk about Minnesota for their basketball team at this point.
Twins fans are apathetic, man. Like they don't. The ownership group doesn't give them a good team to root for. So it's kind of like just the same thing every year. I don't blame them.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, a guy that I want to mention that he's one of the not been playing good ball, Jarren Duran. Jarren Duran this year has been struggling again. I think it's time. I like Jarren Duran, the player. I like the guy too. I think he was very human in the Red Sox stock, and I know he was one of the bigger highlights in the Red Sox documentary on Netflix. But with Jarren Duran, I think it may be time for him to get a change of scenery. Not because he can't do it, because he obviously proved he is an all-star level player in Boston, but I just think he just fits a different, team better, and I think a different change of scenery will help his career out a lot more. Right now, with the games that I have here, in 17 games, 73 plate appearances, he's hitting 200, -2 WAR. ISO's not great for power, 41 WRC plus.
Yeah, I think a change of scenery would be good. The problem is who's taking him right now. I mean, maybe someone will buy low. But yeah, he has not been good.
He was one of those hot targets for San Diego back at the deadline a couple of years back.
Yeah, I think that was last year that was floated.
Really?
I think.
Well, that's the thing. That's our whole argument. The thing with Boston is like they've always had this talent, but it's just like they haven't put the chips in. Like we've said, they always have these chips in, and then they're playing roulette. It's like, for those that listen, I know if Josh is listening, Josh Doring, they're playing pep roulette in the outfield. The Red Sox are literally doing pep roulette through like the whole thing because they had Bregman last year, Meyer before he got hurt. They had Story last year. It was Williers, Sadon, Duran, Roman, and there's just too many moving parts.
Yeah,
and so I think it's he fits a West Coast team. You know what team would he fit really nice and be really fun if he was on?
San Diego. The A's.
I wasn't thinking the A's. I wanted to say the Angels, but no, the Angels no. Arizona with Corbin Carroll and Alec Thomas in that outfield. Speed demon outfield.
Could be fun. All right, let's go to center. Trout, center fielder of the month. I know there were some other good performers, but 10 home runs, 174 WRC plus. Kind of a vintage Trout month. So I hope he stays healthy because he's looking like not necessarily prime Mike Trout, but he's kind of turning back the clock a little bit this month. And then the worst center fielder, he's been one of the worst players in the league, Cedric Mullins. He's hitting 126 with a 12 WRC plus and a negative 0.8 FWAR. Statistically, I think that is the lowest in all of baseball, actually, through the first month or so of the season.
I mean, he's on the Rays. The Rays are going to do some magic, and they're going to get it together.
Right. They signed him this offseason, their free agent acquisition, and the Rays are still playing incredible baseball.
Hey, because they got guys like Chandler Simpson and just Brian Baker saving the game when their closers hurt. But in regards to that next position, right field, Aaron Judge. Again, Aaron Judge, slow start, but again, Aaron Judge is he's just built different. An Aaron Judge year for any other player would be, be regarded as one of the best seasons in a while. I mean, this guy continues to raise the bar, and along with continue raising the bar, he continues its excellence and consistency. Again, Aaron Judge at bats are must-watch TV. I was looking at his let me see if I have that stat. His OPS, it's just crazy.
His OPS on the season, or was it some other qualifier thing?
No, the OPS this year. So
1,165 through his first. Oh, sorry, no, that's Carlos Cortez. Aaron Judge, he's got a 1,002 OPS right now.
In that, where does that rank for his
among qualifieds, it's the best.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's a good one. Yeah, I found it. So Aaron Judge right now is on pace for 65 home runs, 27 stolen bases, 108 RBIs, 392 OBP, 645 slug, 1,037 OPS, 181 WAR, and 9.2 FWAR. And this is Baseball World on Twitter. It would rank the fourth best season out of his last five. That is video game numbers.
Oh, we're witnessing a Hall of Famer. I mean, yeah.
Just get him a ring, man. Just get him a ring, man. We're glazing the crap out of him right now. It's just we're Aaron Judge. So
he's got to get a ring, man. That's just unfortunately part of it. Is if you're a Yankee. Worst right fielder, Owen Casey. Owen Casey has a 42% strikeout rate through his first 29 games. 42%. That's almost half of his at bats he's striking out. So right now it looks like the Cubs have won that trade.
Can't say anything more about that one. DH, Jordan Alvarez is, again, a nuke right there. Up there. He is ridiculous. He is probably – it's debatable between him, Rice, and Judge on who's the MVP in the AL. And where would Houston be without Mr. Alvarez this season? Again, 1.4 WAR, in 23 games, 102 plate appearances, 8 homers, 19 RBIs, 352 average, 206 WRC plus. His Savant page is bright red. We're talking like red, like stop button Staples red.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. He's the player of the month. He is the player of the month, tied for the major league lead in home runs right now with 12. And he's walked more than he's struck out. I mean, yeah, he's one of the best hitters in the league right now. He's the best hitter in the league through the first month of the season. Obviously, there's a long way to go, but let's see how long he can keep it up, because there's really, I mean, yes, there's some protection in that Astros lineup, but that team is so thin, man. I think most people would still bet on Judge over Yordan to win MVP, but it could be a good race the way it was last year with Cal Raleigh. And the worst the worst DH, again, one of the worst, if not the worst players in all of baseball right now is Marcell Ozuna. Negative 0.9 FWAR, 162 batting average, and a 29 WRC plus. Does have 2 home runs, but that signing has not worked out so far for Pittsburgh, and we'll talk about their series later. It was not a good week for them.
Ozuna from the Pirates now.
Unfortunately, it's soon to be Ozuna from retirement. Ozuna from Cancun.
Whoa. Let's not ship his career over. I mean, he hit that monster homer when we went to Fenway last year over into whatever the street's called behind Fenway.
Lansdowne Street. Yeah, that was a nuke. I got to give him credit for that. And then our utility player of the month, we got to give it to Ildemaro Vargas. We'll talk about him a little bit later in the Diamondback series. But he has been so much fun to watch. 372 batting average. He's like 34, 32 years old, and he's finally breaking out. Been in the league for 10 years and super hot month to start the season. Will it continue for the full 162? Probably not. Is it going to be one of those stories that we look back in October and it's like, remember when Ildemaro Vargas started the season, the first month had a batting average over 300, had like a 25-game hitting streak? We're like, yeah, I remember that. And then he hits 220 for the rest of the season. That's probably what's going to happen, but I'll give the guy credit. He has been must-watch TV. He's been incredible for the Diamondbacks in the first month of the season.
It's like, do you remember Sean Livingston's mid-range versus the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2016 NBA Finals? Automatic. Of course. Yeah, exactly. Do you remember the Jeremy Lin run back in the day against the Knicks?
Everyone remembers Linsanity.
Do you remember Aristides Aquino, the Punisher's month of terror?
That is a good pull.
That is.
Whatever happened to him, man?
Aristides Aquino. Let's look it up. Let's. How many homers did he hit that month? The Punisher. Okay, so he's in Japan. He's out of baseball right now. He's in the Mexican League. He's in the Guerreros de Oaxaca.
We went from Japan to out of baseball to the Mexican League.
Well, the Wikipedia page is terrible. So he was designated for assignment back in 2022. He became the first player. Excuse me, it's late. It's past my bedtime. He became the first player in MLB modern history to hit 10 home runs in his first 16 career games. The next day, he hit his 11th home run in 17 games. He holds the record for most home runs in a month for a National League rookie with 14, and tying the Reds franchise record for most home runs in any month for any player.
Yeah, and that was in 2019.
That was where were you for Aristides Aquino in 2019?
2019 August. This was one of the best months ever for a rookie. I mean, 320 batting average, 1158 OPS, and 14 home runs in August. And those were that was the first month of his career. No, he played in 2018. But he had one at bat in 2018. So that was like his first real stretch. And he hit 14 home runs in a month. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Do you want another pool?
Wait, sorry. I'm not done with Aquino.
Oh, you're not done?
22 home runs the rest of his career after that. Okay, now I'm done.
Another poll. 2012 Melky Cabrera, pre-steroid suspension.
What was it?
Melky Cabrera on the Giants.
I thought you had the numbers in front of you.
Oh, I pulled up the numbers here. I remember he got popped for PEDs because the dude was going nuclear. He surpassed Willie Mays for the most hits in the month of May in franchise history with 50. And the next night he tied Randy Wynn's San Francisco record for most hit in any month with 51. He ended up getting popped for high levels of testosterone due to in August.
51 what in a month?
51 hits.
Oh, 51 hits.
Yeah.
Speaking of PEDs, you see Alexi Ramirez got popped. 40-year-old. I love it. I love it. He said, one last ride. I don't care if I get popped for PEDs. I'm retired. He's like, I'm giving it one more go playing in the WBC.
I'm gonna hit a nuke out. Where did they play? They didn't play Lone Depot. They played in
Puerto Rico.
I'm gonna go hit a nuke out there. Boom, knock it out of the park. Why not? Hey, shout out to him, man.
Just like LeBron, man. Steroids. Toronto.
Allegedly.
I'm kidding.
Allegedly, you don't want the what you call it? You don't want the Clutch Sports black Escalades pulling up to your apartment tomorrow morning. Allegedly,
what he's doing at age 40 is incredible. We don't need to talk about it, but this is
he could blow a 3-0. He could blow a 3-0 lead, which
that would be legacy crushing. I think the whole legacy falls down if he blows a 3-0 lead.
He blowing a 3-0 lead to a team without Kevin Durant. Let's just put it out there. Just putting it out there. Hey.
Noticing.
Okay. So next one. Starting pitchers. I'm just going to go through these 5. A lot of starting pitchers have been pitching really well to start out the year, but no other than my personal favorite, Cam Schlittler. Cy Young, AL, Cam Schlittler. My mental health goes out the wazoo when it's a Cam Schlittler day. I see sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns jumping around my apartment in the streets when Cam Schlittler is pitching. Cam Schlittler this season, his fastball has been electric. Pitched this week. He has a 4.1 record, 151 ERA, 49 strikeouts, and a .74 WHIP. He's ice cold, man. That man since October has been, a revelation for the Yankees. Max Fried also pitching really well. Shohei Ohtani, Jose Soriano, and Tarek Skubal. William, what do you think about these 5? I think the Yankees could have 2 MVP candidates and AL Cy Young candidates. Excuse me.
Yeah, agreed on those 2. I don't know how to feel about Skubal. Watching him, he's been good, but I don't know if he's like Skubal good. I put him on that list. You could also give it to like Parker Messick. Dylan Cease has been strong. Jose Soriano is a must. Justin Robleski, another one's been really good for the Dodgers. Surprisingly, Nick Martinez for the Rays. There's been a lot of really good pitchers. The Mets have been a disaster, but Clay Holmes has been good.
Nolan McLean's been pretty good as well. It was one of my pick to clicks this year again for the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good, but we highlight excellence. We're not going to highlight very good. We highlight excellence, and right now these are the 5 that have been excellent thus far this year. Again, I would head to your local casino and I would bet Cam Schlittler to win the AL Cy Young. Take the odds now while it's hot. Put the house on it. Put the car. Put the 401k on it.
I would recommend strongly against doing those things.
Put the retirement plan on, because when it hits, you will see me recording the podcast on the beach in Mexico.
Schlittler, through the first month of the season, if they handed out the award tomorrow, I think it would go to him. But unfortunately,
the one thing is, why isn't there more publicity about it? Why are we not highlighting? Is it because he needs a Yankee? Why?
Yeah, look, MLB came out with their Cy Young power rankings yesterday on Instagram, and they had Skubal 1. It's Cam Schlittler right now.
It's Schlitt. It's Schlitt. Schlitt's Creek. Ain't that some Schlitt? Ain't nothing Schlitt about it.
It is a versatile name for some really good nicknames. You can go a lot of ways with that. We don't need to do that on said podcast. But let's talk about the worst pitchers. We got Zach Littell, Brian Bayo, Taijuan Walker, who is unemployed currently, Miles Michaelis, and Kodai Senga. Brian Bayo, you see Brian Bayo shaking his head at the manager, Chad Tracy, when he's getting pulled yesterday?
No, I didn't see that, but I feel bad for him because I feel like Red Sox development just are misprofiling this guy. I just don't know. I just feel like he is a good pitcher, just trapped somewhere where he doesn't need to be. again, I feel he's a very good pitcher. He has a lot to give. And, we've seen good Bayo. We've seen bad Bayo. I just feel he's one of those players that, I just don't know the Red Sox are doing the right things with him. Again, these are the guys, upset Bayo, that if you're on StubHub or on, let's just say, SeatGeek, and you look up the matchups and it's like, oh, one of these guys are pitching, buy that like $10 outfield ticket, bring the glove, or just go barehanded and go try to catch a home run, because these are your home run generals. Expect a 3-hour game because there's going to be a lot of traffic. You're going to see a football score out there. You're going to see a basketball end-to-end score right there.
You're going to see the Knicks. The Knicks were up like 50 points at halftime against the Hawks in Game 6 tonight.
That's what I'm saying. It was like my biggest disappointment, and no offense, Miles Mikolas has had a great career with the Cardinals, was a great pitcher. But, he averaged his home run averages. He gives up so many home runs. I was so disappointed when it was that like 40 degree day in Wrigley, and they think it was him and Imanaga were pitching that day. Or I forget, it was him and Horton, and he didn't give up homers, and the Cubs didn't get homers that day. So, wind blowing out of Wrigley,
It might be time for him to hang him up. He's given up, or Zach Littell's given up 13 home runs on the season, which is the league worst. I think he was up near the top of the list last year too. I think, last note on Bayo, I think he would be a guy that plays better in a small market. Like, send him out to Kansas City or something where he can just go out and dominate.
St. Louis.
Yeah. I mean, the Red Sox and Cardinals love trading with each other.
I mean, what was it? No, Dustin May wasn't traded out there. He was. Because Dustin May started in LA, they got traded to Boston, or was it signing?
I think it was that they signed him in free agency.
Yeah, well, Wilson Contreras. But I mean, it is
Sonny Gray. Relievers of the month: Mason Miller, Louis Varland, and Riley O'Brien. We do not have the worst relievers of the month, but those are the 3 best that we have.
Yeah. So again, those are the 3 best. I mean, Mason Modelo, Mason Miller, he's been great. Louis Varland and Riley O'Brien. Brian Baker's been really good as well. Also, shout out to David Bednar, who I think always only locks in. No, that's just too much Yankees bias. I'll shut up.
Yeah, he locks in when it's second and third and no one out. That's when he's like Dak Prescott. He's got to get that interception in before he turns it on.
But let me ask you a question. I mean, this is a discourse going around Twitter this week with the amount of closer injuries going around in the league right now. What are your shutdown closers right now in the league? Like, who is your only shutdown closers right now in the league?
Healthy?
Healthy.
Disqualifying
right
Duran. Well, Miller.
Healthy, yeah. Who?
Mason Miller.
Okay, agreed.
Andres Munoz.
He's been rough this year.
Yeah, I know. Riley O'Brien.
Whoa, you're already putting him after you blew the save this past week?
Yeah. I can't give it to Bednar. Duran's injured.
But that's my point. And again, I will bring up the point that right now we have a lack of closers. We talk about how some positions right now have a wealth of talent. I feel right now with the closer position, we really don't have those shutdown closer guys right now. Like, the only real guy that everybody can say, that everybody can agree upon that, hey, you give the ball in the 9th to this guy and he's going to get you 3 outs, is Mason Miller. Everybody else on this list is prone to a blow up or just isn't dominant like a Mason Miller. Like, we don't have like the air of what we grew up with, the Mariano Rivera's, the Trevor Hoffmans, and the Brad Lidges, who was Brad Lidges had his blow up, but he was still pretty damn good. Eric Gagne, like, those are the guys we grew up, like, shutdown guys. We don't have that. The only real shutdown guy we have is Mason Miller.
Yeah, I would say Duran, when healthy, is shut down.
Is that something that if you were to get 100 people, would 100 people, a majority of 100 people agree upon? An 80% over?
80%? Yeah. I think Miller and Duran, when healthy, are the 2 best closers. Unless I'm forgetting somebody.
But that's what I'm saying. There's nobody else shut down right now.
It's one of the toughest positions in baseball. But
there's no shutdown guys. That's the problem. We're in we're in a drought right now. We're in a recession of shutdown relievers right now.
That is true. That is true. And there was a good article in The Athletic by Harris today talking about that, actually, how the save is kind of dying. So I recommend everyone to go ahead and read that.
Yeah, because look at your save leaders: Mason Miller, David Bednar, Riley O'Brien, Paul Sewald, Ryan Helsley, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Lucas Erceg, Brian Baker, Cade Smith, Emilio Pagan.
Yeah.
Not great.
It's a week. All right, let's get into the rest of the week across Major League Baseball. We got to start with the Phillies firing Rob Thomson on Tuesday before their game after a 9-19 start. He actually had the highest managerial winning percentage in franchise history at .568, 4 straight postseason appearances, and he was actually only the 4th manager in MLB history to reach the postseason in each of his first 4 seasons as a manager, joining Dave Roberts, Aaron Boone, and Mike Matheny. And he's only one of 3 Phillies managers to win consecutive division titles. That said, I do think it was time. It's clear that team needed a new message, a new leader in the clubhouse. And that guy's going to be Don Mattingly, the bench coach, who is taking over as interim manager. Actually, interestingly, Mattingly's son, Preston, is the GM of the Philadelphia Phillies. So a bit of a weird dynamic there, I think it's fair to say, in Philadelphia. And one interesting note on this is I had said that I thought Alex Cora was going to be managing by the end of May, by Memorial Day. He was actually offered this job. Alex Cora turned down a job offer to manage the Phillies before it was given to Don Mattingly. He denied it because he said he wanted to spend more time with his family. Apparently, after the Boston Red Sox fired Cora on Saturday, the Phillies courted the manager in a swift and dramatic process that one source familiar with the matter described as intense. Cora, who is 50, ultimately decided he wanted to spend the summer in his native Puerto Rico with his fiancée and his twin sons. So he turned it down. He did the spending time with family thing, which to me, never believe it when someone says they want to spend more time with their family. It's just not true. There is a reason he turned this down, and I think it's because the Phillies job is not that attractive right now.
And you know what job I think he's waiting for?
You think it's the Mets?
That's the only job that could open up. That's big enough to open up here soon, because you think about it with the Mets, with all the resources. I mean, I feel like the Mets are going to clean house at the pace we're going. We'll talk about them here soon. They're going to clean house, and I feel like whoever they implement them, they're going to have a longer leash than what you would have in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, if you don't win this year or next year, pack your bags, you're going to be at the door. In regards to the Mets, the team sucks, unfortunately. They're not winning ball games. It looks like the clubhouse is – not the clubhouse, but the team isn't good. They don't have the talent that I do feel like they need to get talent on that team, mesh it together, and put it all together. It's going to take a longer process than it would with the Phillies. And so I do feel like you're going to get a lot of money, number one, to be the Mets manager, because they think Papa Cohen's going to pay up the big bag to come get you because you have a World Series ring. And number two, he knows that it's not going to be a year rebuild. It's going to take a while to get him back. Just looking at the free agent classes and the trades, it's going to take a little bit longer than what Philadelphia, you got to win, hit the ground running.
Well, both teams had World Series aspirations this year. The thing is, I think Philly's a longer rebuild because they're so much older, and they just have so many guys that are at the end of the back half of their careers. They don't really have a ton of young talent. I know Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford are there, but it's not like they have a Bobby Witt Jr. that they can point to as like the next generation superstar in the franchise. I think Philly is kind of like, if it doesn't work out this year, which it's clearly not, like, where do they go, man? They got a bunch of money tied up in Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, good players, but they're old. The Mets are at least younger.
Correct. But that's my point. I think this year when Philadelphia, you're expecting to win. When you get there, you're expected to salvage the ship. I think the Mets ship, it's getting to the point that it's not salvageable. You know? And that's what I'm saying. And it's just like you come in, you take over the job. You're Alex Cora, which number one, you're coming from Boston with the World Series and the pedigree you have. You got to win this year, and if you don't win this year, you're going to get next year. You're going to run it back next year, and if you don't do it, it's going to be a rebuild. You're out. With the Mets, job probably won't open up till later on in the season or even the off season, and you're going to have a clean slate, and you're going to give him more reins to do so. And I think the resources will be better in New York.
We'll talk about the Mets series later. It might be over for them. And you do have the resources, but it's like, man, at what point is Cohen like going to stop splashing the cash so recklessly? They've missed on a lot of dudes. And now, I will say in both of these situations, I guess we can just talk about the Mets series too. They lost 2 out of 3 of the Nationals. Like both of these franchises, I think the president of baseball operations are to blame. Dave Dombrowski, what are you doing running it back with this core? They didn't do anything really to change the core this offseason except bring in Adolis Garcia. And then David Stearns, again, we like the offseason at the time, but this team is a freaking disaster. The Mets are a disaster right now.
Okay, they're a disaster, but here's my point. With Dave Dombrowski, you already have the talent. You give them the benefit of the doubt because they've been there before. And again, I think if you're a Philadelphia fan, I think what you really look at right now is you look at what Rob Thomson did back in 2022, which in 2022 they fired Girardi June 3rd, and they were 22-29. And then he became the interim, and they won 13 out of the next 15 games. And they went to the World Series that year. And they lost to Houston. And I think that's what you look at. And I think that's what you look at as a Phillies fan, and that's what you thought Cora would do. And thinking about it from Cora's perspective, putting myself in my shoes, if I don't win this year, and I don't win next year, I'm probably out of a job. With the Mets, it's probably going to be a clean slate.
I don't know. There's so much pressure at both of these jobs. He's going to be a manager next season. It's just a matter of where. As a Yankee fan, I'm glad the Red Sox got rid of him because I think he's a good manager.
The Mets will have lower stakes next year.
They might need to kind of recalibrate their expectations.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to have to gut it. You're going to have to gut it some way. And you're going to get a long leash to do so and build something from the ground up. Which in Philadelphia, you're not building something from the ground up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
It's just tough. I mean, both teams had aspirations this season. You look at, the Phillies, they played San Francisco, and they won. Who won game 2 today?
The Phillies walked it off. It was actually while we were recording.
So again, you sweep, but you still got it. You got to start winning ball games. And that's what I think they need. They needed. Well, that's so stupid of me, but you know what I mean. They're expecting a Rob Thomson part 2, and I think, especially how good Atlanta is and how good the NL is.
Yeah, and I think one of these teams, Mets, Phillies, was going to turn it around a little bit. Maybe it's the Phillies. Zach Wheeler's back in the fold. They got a really good pitching staff still. I think they're a better team than the Mets, and there's less moving pieces than the Mets, which I like from this offseason. Let's talk about the Mets. They lose 2 out of 3 to the Nationals. The nightmare start continues. I mean, they come home to Citi Field, and you think they had a good homestand, a good chance of winning some games, playing as the Twins, the Rockies, and the Nationals, and they finished that homestand. I had it up, but I can't find it. They've lost 17 out of their last 20 games. It's the worst 20-game stretch since 2018. They've endured 3-17 stretches in 13 different seasons in franchise history. None of those teams finished above 500. 10-21 start is their worst start since 1981. It sits alone as the 3rd worst start in franchise history. Today it was Luke Weaver that blew it. C.J. Abrams had a 2-run homer in the 8th, giving the Nats a 5-4 lead. Luke Weaver said after the game, "The freedom with which we play day to day is being suffocated a little bit. The magnification just becomes immense, and sleep is lost, and the mind wanders, and you get into a fixation that you don't need to be in. The answer is simplifying the process and maybe doing less and enjoying why you do this for a living." I do feel like they're pressing, but things, man, are super grim in Queens now.
That is such a Luke Weaver quote. Like,
it
just
is.
knowing what his problem with the Yankees. But, I mean, the problem with the Mets is they can't hit for runs. The pitching hasn't been terrible. It's been, their hitting is just absolutely abysmal. They lost Ruth Robert to the IL. I think it may be time, William. The funeral may be here for the Mets. It's bad when on Twitter, fans that aren't into baseball are clowning you. Best tweet of the day that I read at work, and my coworkers laughed. Somebody posted this guy, Jake Brown Live. He's the Mets Daily Show host. He posted 1976 for bacon, egg, and cheese, and a large iced coffee. You gotta love New York. And somebody responded to him, said, "That's like 3 Mets tickets." You officially the joke of the city, and that's bad.
It's bad, man. It's not even May, and the stadium is empty. Like the whole fan base has given up. And I got to ask you a question. What's the vibe of this Soto? What's the vibe of the Soto contract? We're in year 2 of a 15-year deal. He's playing well, but the vibes are like unbelievably bad. The vibes are unbelievably bad in Queens right now.
I don't know, man. Why don't you ask his mother and his family? Just put it out there. I mean, hey, he has $800 million. Hey, look, some people just don't care about winning at this point. He says, like, oh yeah, the Mets are set up better than the Yankees, but hey, he already has a World Series. He's pretty much almost completed baseball. So again, he has $800 million in the bank. So damn near. So hey, congrats to him. Generational wealth.
And we talked about this before. Like, are the Mets just going to be known as that team where you just go out and get a huge payday? That Stern or that Cohen is going to overpay you if you're a top free agent because he's got an ego and he wants to be known as the big wealthy owner in Major League Baseball. He's going to spend a ton of money. Did it for Bo Bichette. Maybe Soto is just going to be okay with being in a losing franchise but making a ton of money. Again, I don't want the Mets have some young talent that I like. They can be a good team, but to say that you're signing with the Mets because you thought they had a better future than the Yankees, I'm sorry, but look at it right now. The Yankees have way more young talent. Now, a lot can change, but I don't know. And then you think about it from like a team building perspective. You have a huge. We don't know what the new CBA is going to look like. Like having $46 million annually to one player in Juan Soto could have a huge effect in whatever the new financial ramifications of the CBA are. So that could end up hurting them, that deal. It's weird. The vibes are like so bad right now in Queens. And I don't know if they're going to get better this year. They got to get rid of Mendoza at this point. They got to change something.
Something has to give out there in New York.
Let's talk about Dalton Rushing. MLB's new Draymond Green.
Draymond Green?
MLB's Draymond Green.
You're selling Draymond Green short, man. I would say others.
From the antics perspective, in the last week or so, last couple weeks, Dalton Rushing has hinted at the Rockies cheating, said F them after Jung-Hoo Lee slid into home and looked injured, drilled in the next game against the Giants, did the takeout slide of Willy Adames at second. Then he called Miguel Amaya a fat F. Nico Horner, who was batting, when asked if fans were correct in the lip reading, Horner said, "Yeah, I wish I had confronted him. I was pretty taken aback. At the end of the day, you just want to have your teammates back." Then in this Marlins series, which the Dodgers lost 2 out of 3, he was called out on automatic strike 3 because the umpire said he was never granted timeout. Then the next game, he puts his hand in the air. I have the clip here if you're watching on YouTube, very passive aggressively, pointing to the umpire for the timeout. You can see it here. Very passive aggressive, clearly saying timeout. Says something there. I don't know what it was, mumbling to himself. Dalton Rushing is quickly becoming the most hated player in MLB. And I said it, I think he's having that Draymond Green of MLB vibe. And I got to say, if I'm Dalton Rushing, screw it, man. Lean into it. Baseball needs more characters like this. They need reasons to tune in to watch the game. They need hateable players. Right now, there's a lot of bland, boring baseball players in Major League Baseball. It's just a matter of the fact. And we don't really have one of those guys that we can point to and be like, man, I can't stand that guy. That guy irks me. And I think this is actually good for baseball. Look, as long as no one gets hurt, I think Dalton Rushing can continue to be a D-bag, and it might be good for the game.
You take words out of my mouth. I couldn't agree with you more. I think this is incredible for the game. I feel like part of these rivalries in the past that have been so great has been because there's a hateable player. William, I know every time I utter the words Pedro Martinez to you, you literally want to slap me in the face, or Big Poppy for some reason. Again, those guys are hated. We don't have those characters in the game. And I feel like, how fitting that he's on the Dodgers, the best team in baseball. The Dodgers are already hated because, one, they spend money and they get away with these deferred contracts. Why not just give him a character that just puts it over the top? Because I kind of feel like, other than the contracts and the payroll, what could you hate the Dodgers for? Shohei Ohtani, he doesn't gamble. Like, he was cleared off all that. You can't hate him. He sleeps all the time and he likes his dog. Like, he's a family man. Freddie Freeman, also primetime performer. Mookie Betts has a great podcast on Bleacher Report. Like personality. What can you hate about this team? Yoshinobu Yamamoto has all the swag in the world. Kike Hernandez is that crazy uncle at your cookout. What can you hate about this team? You need a character like Dalton Rushing, which I do feel like is great for the Dodgers. It boosts the TV ratings for them. And I kind of feel that when you get into the rivalries of, the Dodgers and Padres, and even the Dodgers and the Giants, you need a guy like Dalton Rushing just to stir the pot. And pot stirs make good television. It's like that saying, William. They said, what is it? It's any publicity is good publicity. So I feel like that's where we're at with the Dodgers and Dalton Rushing. So shout out Dalton Rushing. As long as he doesn't do it to my team, or doesn't do anything that crosses the line and keeps it all, with the, as we call it in soccer, with the dark arts, I'm all for it.
All right, let's take a look at the rest of that series. I mean, the Dodgers won or lost 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. Kyle Tucker had a walk-off RBI single on Monday. Then the Marlins won 2-1 on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, very unique double play to end the game here. Freddie Freeman hits a grounder to Xavier Edwards, who tags Ohtani and tags first base really quickly. Very fast double play. And the Marlins win the series in Los Angeles. So good little series win for the Marlins there, Luis.
Hey, there's a buzz around the city with the Marlins. I mean, look at them, man. They went in 2 out of 3 in LA. I mean, the team just got done. Excuse me, 3 out of 4. And
no, 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. I misread our dot. 2 out of 3. I mean, hey, Monday game they gave away off that walk-off single through RBI again with the Kyle Tucker. Again, there's a little bit of a buzz with the Marlins. I mean, they had a tough West Coast, wasn't great in San Francisco, but they get the LA win. And now, hey, don't look back. The fighting Marlins in the Major League panorama are sitting in second place of the NL East. They're right in the thick of things, 15 and 16 with the Central. They're a couple good series, and we're talking wild card with this team.
Yeah, they're a game under 500, 3 games back in the wild card right now. That division might be the worst in baseball outside of the American League Central. It's been that bad.
No. The American League West is the worst division in baseball. I'm not going to be changed about that mind anywhere.
It's better than the American League Central, where there's not a single team over 500.
I think the Central would win series against the West. If you put the Central versus the West, the AL West, I think the West is worse.
Wow. Okay.
None of the A's can't pitch. Houston can't pitch. Seattle can't hit. Angels are the Angels, and the Rangers are just mid.
The Mariners will get there, but yeah, I see the point. Other series, Tampa Bay, Cleveland. I don't have much from this one. The Rays did win 2 out of 3. They continue to be boring, but they're 18 and 12. They're keeping pace with the Yankees right now in the East. They're only a game and a half back. Travis Bazzana did make his debut on Tuesday. Went 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Going to be a high contact, high OBP type of player. So he is the first overall pick in Guardians history. And he's Australian, and his walk-up song was the Land Down Under song. So I thought that was kind of funny. Gavin Williams had a really good start on Wednesday, going 7 2/3 scoreless with 9 Ks as they salvaged that series.
He's one to watch, man. I mean, if he gets the command down, he's one to watch. He's been a guy that's battled with a little bit of command issues, but I mean, I think the biggest thing about the Guards is that they're still afloat at the first place of the Central. Biggest thing with them is the bats need to get it going. Maybe when it heats up there. Steven Kwan's had a bad year this year, really struggling out the gate. He's only hitting 221 with 1 homer, 8 RBIs, and 25 hits. Really need him to start heating up for the Guards. I feel like he's one of the guys, if he heats up, the Guardians can start getting in a nice little groove and a little like 3-4 game winning streak. A couple sweeps in there, maybe. So
yeah, they might continue to do the Voodoo Magic Guardians thing where they have a negative run differential and win the division. Right now they have a -8 run differential and they're tied for first with the Tigers at 16-16. Again, it's been a bad division this year.
Yeah, so nevertheless.
Let's go to the National League Central. The Pirates got swept by the Cardinals. Cardinals won 4-2 on Monday. Dennis Santana blew a save. JJ Weatherholt had a solo home run that tied the game at 2. Going to put that up on the screen right now. That was against Dennis Santana in the 9th. So they won that Monday game. JJ Weatherholt is from the Pittsburgh area, so a lot of family and friends and stuff were in town. Then the Cardinals won on Tuesday, 11-7. A bunch of home runs. Cardinals won 5-4 on Wednesday. Nathan Church, game-winning home run robbery, which I can also put on the screen right now. That was a hell of a play by Nathan Church. Nick Gonzalez hit the ball out. That would have been a game winner, but he robbed it. And the Cardinals won that game. And then they won today, Thursday, 10-5. Paul Skeens got kind of shelled. 5 innings, 4 earned runs, 9 strikeouts, but did allow 2 homers. Paul Skeens has a 10.79 ERA in the first inning this season. Weatherholt homered again today. That was actually off of Paul Skeens, and Jordan Walker picked up his 9th. So maybe I'm wrong on the Cardinals. They're 18-13, but a -3 run differential, 2 back in the Central. I still think they're going to cool off at some point, but they're not going to be as bad as I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I think I could safely say I was wrong on that one at this point.
What I've been saying about the Cardinals, I told you I've watched a little bit of Cardinals ball. They've been pesky. Mason Wynn's playing good ball. It's been, with the Cardinals this year, it's been always a new guy this year. It's been a lot of guys that aren't household names. Nathan Church was on a hot streak. Ivan Herrera has been playing good baseball. JJ Weatherholt's going to get it going. Jordan Walker's cooled off a little bit, but he still is the mainstay in the lineup. Again, sweeping the Pirates, a team that we think could win this division, is a big feat. And let's see what happens. I mean, we're heading into May. Let's see what happens when we get into the dog days of summer.
Yeah, and I kind of feel that way about the Pirates. Like, they're 500. I posed the question in the last episode, like, are they going to be able to sustain this for a full season? Kind of looking like maybe not. Again, it's only one bad series. They won the series against the Brewers in Milwaukee before this, but I am a little bit worried. Like, once those bats cool off a little bit, they just don't have much depth there. So we'll see what happens with them. Let's go to the American League East. The Jays won 2 out of 3 in Toronto against Boston. 5-0 Sox win on Monday, which was a good start to the series. Ranger Suarez, 8 scoreless innings with 10 strikeouts. Trevor Story and Craig Breslow, they hashed things out. Breslow said, quote, "Trevor and I had a conversation. Trevor obviously is a very important part of this team. He's also a leader on this team, and he's incredibly well respected in the clubhouse and by the staff and by me. I'm grateful for the chance to have the conversation with him." Story said the two hashed it out and are united in their ultimate goal. He said, quote, "It's part of the process, having these tough conversations, whether you agree or disagree. I think at the end of the day, we agree that the Red Sox want to win." But they lost the next 2 games of the series, 3-0. Trey Yesavage returned for the Jays, 5 scoreless. And then Wednesday, they got Springer back and won 8-1. Brian Bayo got shelled in that game. Louis Varland picked up his 4th save on Tuesday. The Jays did just lose to the Twins 7-1 as we record on Thursday night, but they're getting guys healthy. So that's good. And the Red Sox kind of continue to be a train wreck.
I mean, I think the biggest thing with the Red Sox, I have 2 takeaways with this series. I think the biggest thing, did you see the Buster Olney segment this morning he posted on Twitter?
I did not.
So they're actually saying, so we know the Red Sox are right now are MLB baseball's biggest train wreck right now. They're the biggest soap opera right now. And they're saying that the struggles, we talk about how they've struggled all around. They're saying that one team that's been affected by hitting a lot is because of the new rules with the coaches on the foul territory, the coaches' boxes. The changes of the coaches' boxes, and they say that the Red Sox hitters gained so much information from their coaches and that they would relay information to their hitters, that their hitters were able to adjust and make adjustments and make, change their whole trajectories and game plans, because of the coaches' information that they got relayed, that because now that the coaches can't be where they were last season, that they've been really affected because of that.
Interesting. And I did not think of that, but that's interesting for sure. Interesting reporting. Garrett Crochet also hits the injured list, 15 days IL shoulder inflammation. Seems like he's going to be able to return when eligible, but that's obviously a huge loss. Them and the Mets are the worst, most disappointing team so far this season.
But the Mets aren't giving us content. The Red Sox are giving us content. Like the Mets,
that
are
is
just
true.
Content is good. Like the Red Sox are actually having content all around. The house is on fire in both places, but the Red Sox house is fully engulfed at this point. Big takeaway for me with the Blue Jays is that Blue Jays are getting healthy, as you said, and don't look now. I mean, they started out slow, losing those series at the start of the year to the. Losing to they played the Rockies, I believe. Yeah, they played the Rockies, the White Sox, and they had that the series against the Dodgers. But don't look now. I mean, the Blue Jays are starting to get hot at the right time. They got a series win under their belt against the Guards, got the series win against the Red Sox, and then against the Angels. That's 3 straight series wins. They're right now 7 wins out of the last 10. So they're slowly starting to get it together. And, I mean, they're only 5.5 back from the Yankees, half game back from the Orioles. All you need is one series against the Yankees where you win 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 or a sweep, and you're back in the game for the division.
Yeah, never gave up on Toronto. They will definitely be there in the end. Quick one, Angels, White Sox. The White Sox sweep the Angels. Everyone has the White Sox at the bottom of their power rankings. They're 14-17. This is a respectable ball club this year. I do not think they're a bottom dweller. Jose Soriano had his first, air quotes, rough start, 5 innings, 3 earned on Tuesday. His first earned runs allowed since April 6th. He had Drew Romo. Had his first 2 career home runs in that game, 2 home run game in the Sox win. And then Wednesday, the Sox walked it off with a Colson Montgomery single. And Murakami on Monday homered his 12th home run of the season, a 3-run shot, clutch home run in that point in the game. And I got to say, I'm starting to see Murakami trade rumors. People are saying that the White Sox should trade Murakami, sell high at the deadline. And I think that is an absolutely horrible idea because I know the White Sox aren't good right now. They're around 500 ball club, which is better than people were expecting. And I actually think they're a solid team. Not going to make the playoffs this year. They have a bright future. There's a lot of young talent there. If you're the White Sox front office, you have to build around this guy. You have to give this guy a long-term extension. I know it's a 2-year deal, but you gotta make sure Murakami is a franchise centerpiece for you moving forward. I think for the first time in a long time, the White Sox have an exciting player. I guess the last one would be Tim Anderson, but it's been so bleak for them in Chicago, and you finally have injected some life into this franchise. You can't just trade him away. I know you could get a good return, get some good young prospects, whatever it may be, but I just think that's the wrong approach. Not only that, but we've seen how much of an influence having Japanese players on your team can have on the economics behind everything. I just think it would be foolish for the White Sox to trade Murakami at the deadline. I'm totally against that.
I mean, William, you bring up some great points with the Murakami trade ideas, but you got to think about it in both ways. I know the fan base is loving it. I don't know if you've seen the Cash. I referenced it earlier in the podcast. So Cash Mooney.
I think that's a good. That's a good one.
Vargas. They're making those vintage T-shirts with the vintage hip hop logos from the Cash Money, all that. They're doing that. I think the fan base is all behind Murakami. The thing is, you got to look at the timeline, and we said he has 2 years of control this year and next year of control. You got to do what's best in the franchise, and we know that the White Sox aren't close to contention right now in the AL. And will Jerry Reinsdorf, if he's still owning the team here in the next couple of years, be willing to pay Murakami a $100 million, $150 million contract to him? That's the question. And I feel like as the general manager, Chris Getz, you have to make what's the best decision for your franchise. I understand how it could work in the sense that, hey, you keep him, the Japanese income comes in from the marketing and everything. But again, you got to do what's best in your organization.
I know. I would hate to see him get traded. That would suck. Mariners, Twins. Mariners win 2 out of 3 here. Only takeaway I have is that Josh Naylor had one of the best bat flips of the season. I'm just going to put it up on the screen right here now. Boom. I'll show that again. Elite bat flip. That was a huge home run at that point in the game too.
Where'd that? And Mars, outer space, Pluto.
I think so. clutch home run from Naylor. They won 2 out of 3, like I said. J-Rod went 3 for 5, and so did Josh Naylor in that game. Randy was 2 for 3. So the Mariners, good series win. And really not much else from that one.
Great series win from the Mariners. I think another point I want to bring out is like these teams that started out slow are starting to get hot. You know, the Mariners are getting hot. The Jays are getting hot. The Mariners have won 7 out of their last 10 again, getting the Twins and the Cardinals sweep. Good things are cooking up there, up in Seattle. Also got to talk about another hot team, the Chicago White Sox, as we just talked about. They're also won 7 out of their last 10. They've stood up and been strong. Only losing that series against the Nationals. Like, teams are starting to heat up. Weather's starting to heat up. We're getting into May. Things are about to change. A lot of our takes that we've had in the past month are about to be washed, and we're going to look like fools here in the next month and a half.
Yeah, potentially. Yankees, Rangers. Yankees win 2 out of 3. Again, pitching led the way. Max Fried was elite on the 4-2 win on Monday. Cam Schlittler followed it up with 6 scoreless on Tuesday. Yankees won that one 3-2. And then on Wednesday, Yankees were unable to finish out the sweep. The Rangers won 3-0. Elmer Rodriguez made his MLB debut, struggled with command, looked very nervous, and Nathan Eovaldi shoved against the Yankees, and the Yankees were unable to finish off the sweep, which is something that I want to see, the Yankees do more so, is finishing off sweeps against these kind of middling teams like Texas and Houston, but can't complain. Still a very successful road trip for the Yanks as they head back home for a homestand here, starting with this weekend. It's Baltimore.
Yeah, it's a great series, great homestand for the Yankees. I mean, you bring it up the best that the Yankees got to start getting those sweeps. I mean, you won in the road trip. You got the 2 out of 3 against Houston, 2 out of 3 against Texas. You did the Texas 2-step, and then you got the sweep in Boston. So, I mean, all in all, you played 9 games, and you come home 7 out of 9. I think that's a great week for the Yankees. Great week and a half on the road. Get some home cooking. You can really set yourself up for success with a nice little sweep against the Orioles. Build yourself a cushion for what the June swoon's coming with the Yankees. So let's build that cushion up as Toronto gets hot. Baltimore's going to be there, even though I don't feel really confident about Baltimore. Set up that. And then William, Elmer Rodriguez was the 4th Puerto Rican to pitch for the Yankees as a starter.
Yeah, you told me that.
Which is a kind of crazy stat. I mean, nice stuff. And I do feel like when you look at the Yankees, I feel like we have to give some love to the player development staff. I mean, the guys that are coming out of the minor leagues are coming ready to go and ready to contribute at the MLB level. Let's look at the past 2 years. Elmer Rodriguez had a great start. You expect with the Yankees bats to produce more than 2 runs. You also have Ben Rice, who has been a revelation this season. You also have guys like, look at, player development in the major levels. Look at Brent Hendrick Fines. Look at Ryan Ruthers. The Yankees are in good hands in the sense of player development and youth movement, and that's without saying that George Lombard coming up the pipeline as well, got promoted this week. Making some aggressive moves with Volpe, sending them back down. Letting Rodon and Cole get nice and hot for the summer months, and you got guys like Carlos Valange coming up, and there's just good things to talk about.
Yeah, for the first time in a while, there's some really young, exciting talent. Maybe it's for the first time since 2017 with the baby bombers and everything, where I'm like, wow, this is so much young talent. It kind of feels like it's more so on the pitching side of things now with the hitting success of Ben Rice. George Lombard looks like he could be legit. He was killing it in Double-A.
You just keep him there. Keep him there. Let him get ready. I don't want him rushed. I don't want Volpe 2.0.
I 100% agree with you. Like, take more than enough time to develop Lombard at the AAA level. I think he's fine. We're fine at the major league level right now. The team is playing well. We don't need to rush his development. If he needs to spend the rest of the year in AAA, that's fine by me. I have a couple things on the Yankees that I want to point out. Number one, you look across Major League Baseball and all of these teams that have had disappointing seasons. I think of the Mets and the Phillies, really disastrous starts to the season. And they fired, the Phillies fired Rob Thomson. The Mets are probably going to fire Carlos Mendoza here pretty shortly too. I got to give credit to Aaron Boone. The Yankees are good every single season, with the exception of 2023 when they missed the playoffs. They've made the playoffs every single year except 23 since Boone has been at the helm, starting in 2018. The Yankees are always good. Whether or not they're good enough to win the World Series remains the other question. But Aaron Boone has not really had, except 2023, which is a disappointing year, but Aaron Judge got hurt. Aaron Boone has not had a disastrous season in the way like the Mets getting off to like a 10-21 start, the Phillies starting out 9-19. That hasn't happened in the Aaron Boone era. Now, the June swoon, the summer struggles have happened for Aaron Boone. And I think that's the biggest question for the Yankees this year is, can they avoid said June swoon? I feel like they have a different mentality this year. We'll see what happens. But I do want to give, I know he's a polarizing figure in the Yankee fan base, but I do want to give Aaron Boone some credit. The Yankees have not been bad in his tenure, and other teams that have had high expectations, high payrolls, have had incredibly disappointing seasons. And it has not happened in the Boone tenure.
And I completely agree with the whole Boone stuff. I hats off. I mean, I'm always at his neck. We just expect a lot, you know. They're
the expectations. The expectations are unnaturally high. Fair enough. It's the New York Yankees. Those you sign up for that when you take the job. Second thing, I know Jordan has had an incredible season, and he very well could be in the MVP conversations this whole season. We could have a very fun season. I know it's early. Can we have a summer of a back and forth MVP race between Ben Rice and Aaron Judge? We know that the Judge stats are going to be there. Right now, Ben Rice, 1,157 OPS, 327 batting average. The Savant page is all red, and he has 10 home runs, which is 2 off the major league lead. He has been one of the best players in all of baseball. He is third in F4 in the entire sport right now at 1.7, which is behind Jordan's 2.0. Judge is a little bit behind him. But could we have a summer where it's just those two guys going back and forth? I think that would be a lot of fun. Rice has been that good.
Would that start up? I mean, the thing with Kyle Raleigh is that Kyle Raleigh played in Seattle and he was a catcher. And I just kind of think the West Coast by it affects. But, you know, we need one of those, like, you know, I remember the 30 for 30, the Sosa McGuire type-esque home run battle throughout the summer. Like the home run, let's have something like that. Let's build it up. Could you imagine if that happens with the Yankees? Like that would be box office.
Marison Mantle 2.0 would be awesome. Let's move on from the Yankees. Let's go through some of the rest of this series real quick. Cubs Padres. Cubs win 2 out of 3. Good series win for them out in San Diego. Mason Miller lost his scoreless streak at 34.2 innings. Questionable foul ball call or fair ball call on the third base line in that game, but the Padres did win that one. But then the Cubs win on Tuesday 8-3 and Wednesday on 5-4. A couple big home runs from PCA. But the biggest news from this series is more bad news for the Cubs on the pitching front. Justin Steele suffered a setback in his rehab. He was diagnosed with a flexor strain in his left elbow. Until recently, the Cubs had been targeting late May or early June for his return to the rotation, which is already missing Cade Horton. But Steele will now be reevaluated in another month. So not sure what's going to happen with him. Disappointing news for the Cubs, but they did win the series. Like the Cubs continue to win games despite all of these injuries.
Big series for the Cubs. Yeah. Like
no thoughts.
The Cubs are getting hot.
And we can wrap it up. Luis, I know you got some work stuff going on tonight. Houston, Baltimore, I got nothing. Orioles win 2 out of 3. Colorado, Cincy, Reds win 2 out of 3. Shout out to the Reds. There's a good, or shout out to the Rockies too. Jared Greenspan had a good article in MLB.com. I recommend everyone reading it about the Rockies pitching staff and kind of some of the adjustments they've made this season with their new philosophy, new regime, everything like that. Any thoughts from those two, Luis? Or
I mean, like I said, the Rockies are looking like an MLB team this year. It's good to see guys like Troy Johnson. I can't praise him more enough. He's on my fantasy team, keeping my team afloat. Case Burns looking really nice this year. Again, he's starting to turn into one of those elite arms that the Reds were looking at draft season. And you know, the Orioles in Houston, again, we know what Houston is. And I'm very interested to watch the Orioles this weekend against the Yankees. I want to see if they're a part of the MLB's best.
100%. Braves win 2 out of 3 against Detroit. Bad news for the Tigers. Casey Mize and Javier Baez both land on the injured list. Tarek Skubal had an elbow scare late in the game on Wednesday, but stayed in. Matt Olson had a walk-off 2-run blast. Kenley Jansen blew his 3rd save of the season. The Tigers did salvage the series today on Thursday. but they fought at 6-14 on the road and 6-16 overall. So not really a good start for them. Pretty bang average, I guess, in the record category. But the Olsen home run, I'm showing it on the screen. That was the walk-off frozen rope out there into the bullpen in right center. So they won that game, obviously. But any thoughts on that series, Luis?
I mean, another good series win. So, I mean, Detroit's playing good ball, but again, Detroit. I'm waiting for Detroit to hit the next gear. Like we talked about them being the class of the AL. I haven't seen them hit that next gear yet. And with Atlanta, I'm not going to continue to glaze Atlanta on the podcast, but Detroit right now, they're in the Central in second place, tied with the Guardians at 16-16. They're not playing good ball away from Comerica. They're 6-14 away. A lot of away games for them thus far. So let's see when they get back home to Detroit if they can get some W's.
And last two series, Arizona, Milwaukee, Brewers win 2 out of 3. Brandon Woodruff did leave the game on Thursday. His velocity was just completely tanked. So that's a major concern if you're a Brewers fan. And Ildemaro Vargas extended his hitting streak to 23 games this season, 26 games dating back to last year. He's been one of the stories of the season so far. And then the A's, they won 2 out of 3 against Kansas City. And Nick Kurtz is he could break one of the more unique records in baseball history. He extended his walk streak to 19 games on Thursday, which tied Ted Williams for the third longest streak since walks first started being tracked for individual hitters in 1913. He is 3 away from the all-time record walk streak, which is held by Roy Kulenbein in 1947 with 22. Barry Bonds in 02 and 03 had a 20-game walk streak. He's looking to tie that in his next game, but this guy is incredible eye at the plate, and obviously one of the best young players in the league. So look for Nick Kurtz this weekend to potentially tie that record, and next week he could break it. And by the way, beautiful uniform matchup. Look at that uniform matchup right there. That is gorgeous. That was Wednesday night in Sacramento. The green, the baby blues.
Ooh, that's a uniform game 100.
So,
I mean, William, bon voyage, my friend. I will see you in a week. Hopefully the Yankees come back to a couple win streaks. We'll have some good ball, good content. I thought tonight's episode was great. We're 32 in. Make sure you give us that follow on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on X. Let's get you that. So follow on TikTok. Follow us on YouTube. Trying to get to 500 subscribers here real soon by the end of the year. William, any parting notes before you cross the seas on the Mina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria?
Nope, but you'll have to keep me updated on the baseball. I'll keep up with the Athletic and reading articles and everything, but kind of taking a week break, and we'll be back next Sunday. So Sunday, May, whatever it is. So we'll be back then. Hope you guys enjoyed. Luis, get to work. I know you got to finish work. It's late. A lot going on. This was a long one, so I hope you guys enjoyed if you're still listening. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in a week or so. Until then, peace out.